Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast.
Episode 147.
Is it?
Yeah.
147 episodes. My name is Ryan. There's Shanee right there.
Hi, guys.
That's also Tom.
Hello.
What we do is we sit here and we talk about video games every week. 147 times we've done this.
Yep.
More than that.
Sure.
There's some lost episodes.
Yeah.
Lost levels.
Yeah. How are you, Tom?
Okay. Not too bad. I've been busy. Working more than I should.
Yeah.
But, I'm here to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played any video games this week?
Very little. What did I play? I played a little bit of the first Orcs Must Die last night.
You like it?
Yeah, it's super fun so far. I'm only a few levels in, but Abs says he'll play with me if I want to do co-op.
So that game's a combination of tower defense and third person.
Yeah, I mean, I would just call it a tower defense game. It is third person and you do shoot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird to me when we talk about genres in games and need to put little sub-genres onto them, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a tower defense.
Right.
Plants vs. Zombies, whether you like it or not, that's a tower defense game, It's like a fighting game, right? Okay, Smash Brothers and Tekken and Street Fighter are all three very different, but they're still fighting games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I played a bit of Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Because you get that for free if you own the original on Steam.
How was the remastering?
If you really want to play it in a higher resolution, get it. If not, it's nothing's been changed about the game really.
Yeah.
I can't tell a difference from playing the original, which I played on Steam a few months ago.
Yeah.
So it's whatever.
Is the blowing stuff up still fun?
Oh yeah, I mean it's still an awesome game, but if you're buying it just to see visual upgrades, I think you'll be disappointed.
Right on, Tom.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No?
What about you, Shanee? Have you played any video games this week?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go.
Okay.
A lot. I've been catching so many.
Is that game coming back? Is it back?
It's good.
I mean, it was never really gone, dude.
They just
It
had.
was just sleeping.
I mean, there was a drop-off, but there's always a drop-off when a game is that popular,
But
It's consistently had a fuck ton of players.
Yeah, I feel like this summer it's been coming back around. I've been seeing more. Maybe it's just because I'm back into it that I'm noticing people playing it.
Sure.
And also now that I go work in a museum area, that I see people around the museum playing it. So.
You have to go out there with the hose and tell them to get the fuck out.
Yeah, do you ever have to do that?
Get. No, I don't. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. They just had a Articuno Day Friday.
Articuno?
It's like Big
Or
Bird.
Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a legendary Pokemon.
You gotta put it into terms I can understand. I know what a big bird is.
It's an icy big bird.
Okay.
It's a blue icy big bird.
Okay.
It's hard to find. And then today they just had a community day where you can catch Squirtles that have Squirtle Squad glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now they're doing for the month Pikachus with little hats and sunglasses too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You catch one of those?
Yeah, I've caught a bunch of them. They're everywhere.
Okay.
I now have a Raichu with sunglasses, so that's pretty sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I've been getting back into it. You interact more with other players, which is something I really enjoy. Birdo's getting more on the IVs. I just want to catch one of everything.
Wait, more on the what?
Their stats and stuff like that.
I think I've asked you this before, but do you plan to take your Pokemon Go Pokemon into Let's Go?
I didn't know it was a thing until you told me about it, and then I said I was down.
It's a thing, but once you take them into Let's Go, they are gone from Pokemon Go.
Forever.
Oh. Maybe some of the ones I don't care about as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Go, still reading a lot, and then, playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. It's been also really fun with Pokemon Go with my dog, because it's a good way to tire her out, and also, I get to play Pokemon.
I thought you meant your dog played it too.
Yeah, because my follow-up question was going to be, does she know what a Pokemon is?
No. Though, she's really good about, whenever I need to stop to, catch something, because, being a bitch to catch, I can't just, flick at it. I'll stop and like she's now like used to it and she'll just like sit down and look at me and wait till I'm like, all right, let's go.
So she can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
My sister had a cat who used to play Diablo 3 with Ryan.
What do you mean had? Is he?
Oh no, he's still alive.
Okay.
Barely, but he's still alive.
You look so concerned.
Well, I mean, he's an old man, but
Yeah, he's ancient.
he would sit in my lap
Ancient Japanese man.
and he would sit in my lap and like curl up and while I would grind out levels in Diablo 3 for like hours at a time.
When he got tired, he would just lift your hand up and move it around.
No, he's a good man.
That's actually one thing I did play a little bit of is Diablo 3.
Really?
Uh,
Were you playing with other people or?
Well, Bradley's been playing it,
Oh.
so I was just showing him, other classes with all of my maxed out characters.
Bradley.
But,
if I had to guess, Bradley's a barbarian.
He is a barbarian, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about maybe doing the whole necromancer bullshit.
Necromancer's
But we'll
pretty
see.
fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Is it $30 fun though? A class for $30, it's that fun.
Well, how do you quantify fun versus money spent?
I don't know, man. I just don't think.
Like, do you
When Overwatch, it's developed by Blizzard, right? When the same company is giving you new characters in one game
for free?
over and over and over again for free,
Yeah.
but expecting you to pay $30 for this one class who's very similar, unless they greatly changed the Necromancer from Diablo 2's Necromancer, it's quite similar to the Witch Doctor.
They do actually play fairly differently. So, I guess in my view, I would the way I quantify fun versus money spent is like how many hours of fun I get out of it.
Sure. I mean, I seriously doubt that I'll play adventure mode in that game ever again.
Sure.
Yeah. Probably just take them through the campaign once.
Yeah.
Max them out, and that's it.
But even looking back at that, like
I'm not going to Paragon that guy,
Sure. But like looking back on it, and it's funny because like when I do play Diablo 3, it's not as a necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a lot of fun going through it that first time, but I don't know. I think he's more like, I think that class is more like $10 fun.
Yeah.
Maybe $15 fun. But I don't know. I think you would like it though.
I'll say this: it does bother me when I see the platinum trophy
Yeah.
and there's a chunk missing from the percentage because of that DLC.
Wait a second.
Because it added more trophies.
Right.
So.
Is my platinum gone?
No, your platinum's still there, but now you're at like 80-something%.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I like that.
You know what I like? Hear what you've been playing this week, Ryan.
You ever heard of a game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds?
Is that like Fortnite?
It's like Fortnite. If it's copying Fortnite a lot.
Sure. Fortnite was the original.
Yeah. No, I've been playing a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Never gotten remotely close. I haven't been close to a chicken dinner since that first time I played.
You were very close that time.
Yeah.
I think you were third, fourth?
I was third, yeah.
Yeah. Your first time playing?
But I am actually having markedly more fun playing it than I was that time. I'm to the point where I will watch videos on the internet about like people like giving me tips and
pro level strats.
I've been looking
Tips
at
and
some
tricks?
pro level strats as of late for the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Some of that bumper jumper going. You are playing on controller.
I am playing on a controller, and I'm getting more kills on controller than I ever did mouse and keyboard.
That's weird.
I've been like, so when I first started playing, like my strategy was to land on the outskirts to where I could avoid conflict long enough to like get my bearings and
Now
like,
go in those hot
scavenge.
zones.
But like now I'm just like, where's everyone else dropping? That's where I'm going. And like and
School always.
well, like there are 3 maps now.
Yeah.
And like on on the original map, like I know like it's the school, but like I haven't heard anybody talk about the other two maps. So
Hacienda is on one of them. I forget which one.
When you call any level in a video game school, I just think of Tony Hawk.
yeah, well that's also the best Tony Hawk level. So
Sure.
but yeah, like so a lot of my matches usually start with me making a mad dash for anything I could find, and usually also involves me like throwing punches at people because I don't have any weapons, and I've gotten actually like more kills like with my fists in that game than I ever thought I would.
Oh, because it's all at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not punching people to death late game, right?
No, that would be amazing. Though.
Yeah.
But I've also started doing this thing where like if someone kills me, then I actually like to watch and see how far they make it, and
It's like because you want to get beaten by the best.
yeah.
Preferably.
Yeah, I watched this guy killed me when there were like 50 people left, and I just watched him go from that all the way to winning the match. So that was pretty cool.
Was he playing as Thanos?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But no, I've been having a lot of fun with that game. I think the last time I checked, I've put like 15 hours in that game, something like that. Also been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins, which is I'm really bad at that game as it turns out, but
Is it the platforming?
no, it's actually it's the stealth. I don't know what it is.
You're not sneaky? Can't get your sneaks on?
Like it's every time like I see the person I want to kill, and then I'm like, all right, I'm waiting for the moment to go out and get them, and as soon as that moment comes, I start trying to approach them, but there's always some guy that I didn't see who like spots me, and then like the whole thing falls apart.
I've not played Assassin's Creed in a very long time.
Yeah.
Has the stealth in that series evolved past blend in with the crowd?
Yes.
Okay.
The stealth in the series is now more akin to something like Splinter Cell.
Really?
Like
Dishonored had fun stealth. In my opinion.
Yeah.
yeah, but you could also teleport in that game.
Yeah, and Dishonored stealth was always optional.
Yeah,
And even
I liked it.
even in Assassin's Creed, it's optional. In fact, like the first with because I played every Assassin's Creed that I've played, like I always quickly gave up on stealth because it was I just felt like it was unintuitive. But this, it's more there are more clear differences between stealth and just kind of going all out with it.
Are there vision cones?
Probably, but they are not visible to you.
Okay.
But like not, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed before that like had like an actual like crouch button and didn't have anything like there were like very clear spots where you can like hide and stuff. It's not just, and in
Sure.
fact I don't think you can actually blend into the crowd in this game. Now that I think about it.
All right.
But it's that game's combat is probably the most fun it's ever been though, and in any Assassin's Creed game. But
Because
Fun
they put it
stealth
on the
despite
triggers
everything.
it's on the trigs.
And that's what you like.
I like that. It's actually like the combat controls in that game are exactly Dark Souls, which I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's still it's a great time. I love that game. I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Get that Cappy going.
Mm-hmm. I just think that I think that they are. Actually, you know what? The one thing I don't like about Assassin's Creed, and I know that it's like pivotal to the entire mythos of that franchise. I don't like the stuff that's outside of
Nobody does.
that. It's just like
Nobody does, but they've stuck with it for so fucking long now.
like because I was talking to you last week about how like I hate the idea of the Fallout stuff being like, or the Elder Scrolls stuff being like somebody's dream or whatever.
Right.
I hate the idea that this is all a simulation.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Everybody hates that in Assassin's Creed. They're just stuck with it now.
Also, though, turns out that Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs is in the same universe.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that, but I happened upon that by looking at optional things. I realized that, so I thought that was neat. I don't have a particular affinity for Watch Dogs, but I still thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So, and then we're gonna find out that it's in the same universe as Rayman, which would be even better.
Don't bastardize Rayman.
I've actually never seen like a single because you know how like a lot of times like a developer like will put like plushies or props from like their other franchise in the background of their games. And I was always surprised that I'd never seen like a Rayman plush or anything. In
I think they know it would make people mad.
Maybe.
I think they know it would make Tom mad.
I think a lot of people who have played Rayman since early 90s, mid 90s,
Yeah.
would not be happy with that, you know?
What do you like? What about that would upset people?
It's like if you saw like a Mario plushie in a Metroid game. Like, I think that there are just old fans that would not be pleased with it, you know?
Now that you
Now
said
I'm just
that,
imagining old people saying I am displeased.
now that you said that, I'm actually curious as to like. I'd actually love to see. I feel like it would be similar to the reaction to New Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to go into the Ninja Turtles thing anyway. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any trivia for us?
No. Mm-mm.
Do you have any trivia for us? If you say Pac-Man or Kirby, I'll be really upset.
Nah.
Okay.
I don't know nothing.
You know something.
You know something. Give us an Otomi triv.
I got it.
Like, do you play them and then, like, after you're done, like, immediately erase them from your memory so you have space for the next one?
Honestly, almost. Like, some of them definitely blend in together, and, like, I know what the main characters look like, but I'm like, what was his personality again? And then I'll read, like, a small synopsis. I'm like, okay, I remember all of this now.
Here's one. Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, Shanee too, but I feel like you might know this. What game is Marty McFly playing in the arcade in Back to the Future 2?
I don't know.
Not...
Wait.
It's a light gun game.
I feel like you've asked us this before.
I may have. Not that I can recall.
I mean, I still don't know it.
Like, what light gun game would have been out at that time? When that movie come out? 89?
I don't
Time
know.
Splitters.
No, Time Splitters didn't exist. Time Splitters was still a ways away.
Nor is it a light gun game. So.
Yeah.
Galaga.
No, Galagan's also not a light gun game. Wild Gunman. So, there's that.
So.
Alright.
Alright.
But in a very similar vein of me not knowing anything, brings us to our topic today,
Okay.
which is I want to know stuff. I want to know more than I know right now.
Okay.
I feel like I definitely have a grasp on like the games that I've played and like franchises, and especially whenever I was working at GameStop and it was like my job to sell them and like know the dates of things. I still can't remember most dates, but I know like a general like
I'm bad with dates too, dude.
But I know how old I was when stuff came out, and I kind of base it off that.
Yeah, me too. Ryan's good with dates.
Yeah, so good at dates. But like being around both of you, I've mentioned before, like I really admire how much like y'all know about like developers or like history of video games.
I wish more people admired that.
Yeah.
Like just people in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting and something like I'm envious of. Not like that I'm like that like I hate you for it, but like it's something that I aspire to be more like.
Us for it.
No, but I aspire
Fuck,
to.
did he know that?
I'm just like I wish I'd like when we do trivia, like I'm like I wish I knew even remotely the thing, and like some of it is like me freezing up and I'm like once I hear the answer I'm like of course it's that. But yeah, so I have in the last couple months every now and then, especially when I'm bored or I don't know what I look up, I'll also look up like a history of like Square Enix or Squaresoft or like Activision, and just like watch like maybe like a 20-minute video, or sometimes I just like go on Wikipedia and just start like clicking blue links.
Sure.
But like so a lot of that just kind of sieves out. Maybe I do have the memory of a goldfish, and my brain retains only weird information. But like also maybe I just need to find either more pinpointed things to look at, or different ways to or different avenues of looking at things. Maybe I need to go back and like magazine stuff. So what I want you two to do is give me suggestions
Okay.
of either things like specific topics to look at, or or different like magazines to read, or things that you think that like might like, or like documentaries to watch that you think might help me get a bigger scope of knowledge when
Okay.
it comes to video game history.
Good.
And after this video, I'm probably going to be tweeting about it, and I know we're going to be making some check it out videos of like me, what I've been finding out, what I've been learning,
Make your list,
and my experience.
and I will
with it.
try to link all the sources in the description.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're making a list, right? So make your list. When we're done, send me a picture of it, and I will try to link everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I also have some things that like I want to look up, and you can tell me
Pornhub?
if I know how to
Never
look
heard
that
of
up. I don't need y'all's help with that.
Sure.
But like if you think that's like, I don't know, a kind of like a wild goose chase to look at that. So, one of the things I've been looking up, or that I've been like hearing a lot of, is like mass takeovers in different like companies, like Activision, and mainly happening in the 90s with like other companies. And so I was just thinking, before I came over here, I was about to Google massive takeovers via video game companies.
Hmm.
But I kind of feel like that's like too broad.
Well, I think that's something that, you know, a lot of the stuff that I know about video games, like just speaking of myself, a lot of stuff that I know about video games, I kind of, is stuff that I just passively accumulated through, like, just through this hobby. Now, things like that are part of like the business aspect of video games are things that you kind of have to actively be paying attention to or be looking for. Like when the whole thing with Vivendi and Ubisoft was going on, like the only reason like anyone knows about that is because they were paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'd say with that stuff, like, as far as the games industry as a business, it's best to look at actual historical things that have already happened. When we look at analysts that make predictions, right? Like Michael Pachter, right? Like, that's what he's well known for, right?
Who's Michael Pachter?
Exactly. Well, he's a games analyst. Is very frequently wrong. Which I don't understand how these people have any credibility. They're very frequently wrong. You know, 4chan's more right than they are recently. You know what I mean?
I mean, 4chan got the boobs, so of course they're right.
I'm just saying, like, I don't
think Michael Pachter
like.
has boobs.
Yeah, look up the Pachter factor. Like, it's this whole YouTube thing, right? And like, when he's talking about stuff that has already passed, he can oftentimes offer valuable insight. But like when it is him making predictions, very wrong, very frequently.
Yeah.
You know, the
Like-
video
like
game
the what-
historian, though, have you heard of him?
No, but I have been watching some Historic Nerd.
I don't know that one.
Uh,
The video game historian is a great YouTube channel. He gives a lot of insight, especially on Nintendo stuff, but other stuff too. Only problem with him is that he is very slow to add new stuff. You know, it's very infrequent that you get a new video from him, but it's good stuff. I don't know, Ryan. Industry stuff, business side.
so, I
Well,
guess.
I mean, and that's the thing too with like with business stuff. You kind of like a lot like when we did that business episode, like what was it, a year, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of you know, my research was outside of the video game space. Like looking at like financial publications and things like that, and people who track data like in all sorts of businesses, right? And it's typically more entertaining to look at, to go through video game media outlets for that stuff, because it's also going to contain, you know, by proxy, it's going to contain more of the stuff that you're interested in. It's like while you're looking at that, you can also see, oh, like look what's happening with Capcom this week, right? But
Well, I think that's it, right? Like, you pay attention to it long enough, even just like the news, right? We do the news every week, fucking 5 minutes a week, right? You pay attention to that stuff for long enough, you can get pretty good at predicting what people are going to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is why I can predict so well what companies are going to do, because, dude, I look at video game news.
Should you have your own Pachter factor?
No, but like I look at gaming news every day, every single day. You know what I mean? Like it has, and that's just Twitter, you know.
Yeah.
But
In fact, I think Twitter is Twitter is actually a really good source of information about like what's happening. But you also have to very closely moderate like who you're listening to.
but you know what I mean, like.
Who do you
Because
think
like
is-
I
who do
haven't
you-
always known this stuff, neither have you.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, only in the past few years, several years, right? A
who do you-
decade ago, I couldn't tell you half the shit I know now. But after 5 years of watching Capcom or watching Naughty Dog and seeing what these guys are doing over and over and over again, they clearly have patterns, right?
Yeah, and the patterns are like once you notice them, they're really easy to see.
Yeah.
But one name that you hear thrown around a lot is Jason Schreier.
Schreier's awesome.
He's always like breaking a new story, and he's probably, of all the people that I follow, he's probably the most credible source of information that I.
Schreier's to the point where like, if he
How do you
predicts
spell
something,
his last name?
I don't know, dude. He works for Kotaku.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate Kotaku with some good reason, but Jason Schreier and that website is one of the only websites that is actually giving you journalism.
Yeah.
Jason Schreier, when he gets something wrong, it is usually something that just hasn't happened yet. Like he'll predict something's going to happen at E3, and everything he's predicted happens, but one thing he got wrong, 6 months later it'll happen.
Yeah.
So do you think following the current, I guess, like faces now, like I guess Strider and like Layden and stuff like that, do they all help me get a better scope of video game history and current events, or
I think
without having as much of a background as you guys?
I think that if you're looking to get information about any specific thing, you're probably going to want to stay away from
The figureheads
like Sean Layden or.
Because it's all PR speak, right?
Right, because they're going to tell you everything that they want you to know, and,
Yeah.
and they're going to give it to you in a very specific way.
I think it's still good to keep track of those guys and what they say and what they do. Just take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Like anything that they say, you're probably going to want to
Well, yeah, I mean,
cross-reference it with something else.
100%, because they have an obvious bias, but at least I know where that bias is coming from.
Right, well, but you can see things, right? Like you can see things like when Phil Spencer takes over and how much better he is doing, right? Like how that company has changed with him at the helm, So that, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, Ryan's right. They're going to say, they're putting their makeup on. They're going to say what they should be saying.
Right.
Not necessarily lying to you, but
It's just a version of the truth that is conducive to their business.
it's just like E3, right?
Yeah.
Their Twitters are E3.
Yeah.
When Phil Spencer comes out and says, I'm going to show you 40 games today that are exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're coming to Xbox first,
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that all the time.
And I think but I do think that there is value in, I do think that there's also a good amount of entertainment value, at least, in following these people, because it's like whenever you're looking to, like, you want something to look forward to, right? Like, I want to know, like, what's Xbox up to, what's PlayStation up to right now. If you want to find that out, then they're gonna tell you, and they're gonna give you things to look forward to. But when you want to find out, when you're looking more for about the how and why of things, a lot of the time you're gonna want to.
We're just about.
Well, we'll see. I don't know if it necessarily stops, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's give it a few minutes.
When you're looking for the how and why of something, again, you're gonna want to look in a lot of other places. And a lot of times, like, one thing that an approach that Tom has adopted, and I think that most people do this, is you follow people whose views and opinions most often align with yours.
I mean, for me, that's specifically with reviews.
Yeah. But you also want to you probably want to broaden that out a bit, but it's also there's a lot of value into like doing like your own research as opposed to just relying on people to feed that stuff to you.
Yeah, and I do that with everything, which is mainly why, like, when I get into something, I really get into it because I'm spending all this time trying to find different viewpoints of it.
Yeah.
To see what it is that I'm really what I actually like about it, and what it's actually going to be like and how it actually like kind of affects them more than just my scope and perspective.
I've gotten away recently from watching a lot of video game reviews, but when and if I do, like Ryan said, it's from somebody who typically when they review a game, I share the same opinions once I've played that game. You know, I don't watch reviews from a specific site. I watch them from specific people.
Yeah.
But
And I think that trusting individual like editors or what have you is more important than trusting a specific outlet.
yeah,
But also like the thing about this this medium, and I'd say like many other, it shares this with a lot of other mediums, is wanting to know the history and context for a lot of stuff. It's like there are times when you kind of have to narrow your focus a bit. You know, like, do I want to know more about more about platformers or more about, you know, what have you. But it is cool to, you know, when you randomly happen upon, you know, maybe a piece of media that doesn't often align with, you know, your typical taste. Like a few years back, you know, we'd watched this documentary on. This still going?
still going. You guys want to just let it ride, or you want to?
We can.
Yeah.
I mean, we may end up not getting something, but we'll see.
We can.
We gotta find out at some point, right?
We'd watched this documentary on Dota, I think.
Yeah, specifically on the competition.
Specifically
Yeah.
on the
Do you
competitive.
remember what it was?
No.
I don't remember exactly, but it was like neither of us plays Dota, nor has any interest in playing Dota, but like the insight into like the competitive world of that game was at least to me was very fascinating.
Is there any other documentaries y'all think y'all would recommend?
Tons of them. I'll spit them out to you in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like, I think that almost the opposite of what you're saying. Like, while I had fun watching that, I retained very little of that information.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you know, let's say you're really into Doom. Like Ryan's really into Doom, right? You can watch No Clip's documentary on the making of the new Doom series.
Excellent, by the way.
You can read Masters of Doom.
That's another person, Daniel ODwyer, write that name down.
You can read Masters of Doom. You can read
Daniel Dwyer?
ODwyer. You could read the Doom Bible. Like, there's all these sources for that one game, but like, if you're not into Doom, why would you want to do that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I think
Like, learn what you enjoy.
yeah,
you
like
know?
I think that, you know, because you have a fondness for JRPGs, you have a fondness for Otomis, and
Well, and like you're saying, you have to narrow your focus. Whether you want to know a lot about movies or TV or video games, like, you can't know everything. There's too much to know.
yeah,
You know?
but
Alright.
So, like, if you hate Doom, why would you do all of those things? Like, there's a fuck ton of information on the Doom series, but why would you do that if you don't like Doom?
Yeah.
You know?
Alright, then I guess.
Danny O'Dwyer, there are two things from him that you should check out. He used to work for GameStop. He had a GameSpot, excuse me.
Yeah.
He had a series called Escape from Mount Stupid that is basically just retrospectives. I think retrospectives are extremely valuable, and when they're done as well as he does them, you can learn a lot. He had one specifically on the Shock series that takes you through System Shock all the way through the BioShock series. Really good stuff. If you're into that stuff, retrospectives, game trailers had a lot of good retrospectives. They are still up, even though game trailers is no longer really a thing. That crew all moved on to Easy Allies, which the only retro they currently have, I think, is Deus Ex and
isn't there
Souls.
currently usually a red light on there?
I don't know. No?
No.
I mean, yeah, so all Easy Allies currently has is Deus Ex and Souls, but like, Game Trailers has a Kingdom Hearts retrospective, which obviously at that time, like, ends with like, you know,
Whatever the last.
we've been waiting a long time for fucking 3, right?
Yeah.
So that retrospective is old, but like, that series hasn't had a new entry in a while, you know? And then yeah, Danny O'Dwyer started No Clip, which you should definitely check out. No Clip is nothing but video game documentaries. If it's not a documentary, it's a one-on-one interview with typically developers or journalists or whatever.
Yeah, because what I would love to be able to do is hear like developer names and have some sort of recollection or thought process of like, oh, I know what they've done.
Yeah.
Like I can make like, oh, like if you're like, oh, Epic Games is coming out with a new game, I can probably guess what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, like maybe they went in a new direction, but like
Fort Day.
yeah, maybe they went in a direction and they're making a Tomy game, and I was just like, what?
Sure.
Yeah, but like I wanna have like these names mean something to me without having to be told like, okay, they made this, and be like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I want to know more than surface level stuff.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to like, and I don't think I ever will, like be like, oh yeah, back in 92, like Square did this with this company or whatever.
So NoClip is definitely more specific, right? Like, here's the making of Doom, here's the making of Fallout 76, here's a GTA clan, and here's everything that clan is all about, you know? Rarely does he talk about a company. Sometimes in talking about a specific game, he gives you like a history lesson on that company. Like he did one on Warframe, so he talked about them and what they did before that.
But I also liked other like fun,
Yeah.
interesting stuff. Like you said, like you're like, oh, the Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs are like the same universe. I like finding out fun stuff like that. Whether I'm actually like invested in either franchise, like I still think it's fun and interesting to like have all these small things
Sure.
be connective. And so I definitely like learning more, even if I'm not necessarily interested in the franchise. But like just having, I just want to have, like I said, I feel like I have a surface level knowledge of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to have like a deeper knowledge and maybe find a deeper appreciation for all the games that are coming in and out of
Well,
these companies.
the way that I've been able to draw a lot of correlations between developers and what they've done before is it just came from, I've spent my childhood and actually my entire life reading video game magazines, and you see names pop up over and over again,
Yeah.
and then you kind of start holding that in, right? Like, you know, I think that, you know, if I wasn't paying attention, like at the time when the franchise was still fairly young, you know, I didn't know who Rockstar was, and I didn't have any way to connect them. I didn't know who, you know, you know, I wouldn't have had any context for who Bungie was, but, you know, I just read articles and I see those names pop up over and over again, and like every time a new game comes out, I'm like, oh yeah, they did this thing. But that also came from a lot of, and you know, this might not be for everybody, but this is just how I digest information. I'm just reading online articles all the time, and you know, you see, and once you see those names often enough, then it instantly triggers something in your head.
Yeah, I growing up, I didn't really pay attention to the opening credits stuff. Of course, I'd see it, and I would recognize like that I'm seeing something, but I didn't really make the connection of this is an actual company like necessarily making it. So like.
But they mattered. The credits mattered less then. You know, like people don't like to admit that, but they really did.
Yeah, like, and when I was younger, and like I said, my parents only wouldn't buy me games. I got a lot of them from like my cousins and stuff. What I would do is I'd look at video game like cases, and I would recognize like logos, but I didn't necessarily have a name for it. I was just like, oh, like this is this, and that's like.
I was the same when I was young, you know, like when I was a little boy, like I knew
even,
Capcom typically meant something I would like, even though that came from a ton of different developers.
Yeah.
That logo meant something to me.
I was saying even as a teenager,
yeah,
I didn't like necessarily know names. I just like recognize symbols, and even when I started working at GameStop, like some of the games I didn't realize. Oh, I have like a thing here. I didn't realize that the Rockstar made Bully when I initially started working at GameStop.
No, but
looking at the discs and looking that all have like the labels. That's where I made a connection. Whether I had like the name for the company or not, I knew what their like logos were.
But whether this isn't with all companies, right? But with I'd say most of them, unless you're an indie dev, that logo can mean something if you have spent time with that logo. You working at GameStop when you did, you probably knew that the THQ logo meant a kind of mid-tier game, you know? And those games were developed by a fuck ton of different people, but like that logo still meant something and you weren't wrong to think that, you know? I don't know. I think that even having a surface level understanding of that is like, that's knowledge, you know? That's knowledge that a lot of people that play video games don't have, you know?
But I also think that based on what I know of your tastes in video games, like you're playing a lot of JRPGs, especially like, especially like over the past 15, 20 years, you're just gonna see the name Squaresoft or Square Enix over and over again.
Or NX.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how like literally the only NX game that I've ever played or can recall is Star Ocean Second Story. That's the only game I can
Well,
recall.
like Dragon Quest
Sure.
was NX.
Right.
Terranigma was NX, but like, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think I knew that like Squaresoft became Square Enix or even like anything about that until I was in my early 20s.
As a matter of fact, when that happened, NX was doing better than Square was.
But yeah, I think that if you spend a lot of time playing, a very specific kind of game, you're gonna see a few of the same names over and over again. And I think that even before this conversation, you had already drawn a lot of. I can already tell you some. I can say Square, and you'll be able to rattle off some games that you know.
There are things you can associate with that, right?
Yeah.
I can say like even now I can say Capcom, and you have
and you have that. Most people that play games don't have that. Most people that play games do not have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I just wish I could like say like I knew anything. Like I know I have read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have probably seen him, but I couldn't tell you the name of the person who is the head of Square Enix.
Neither could I.
And I want to be able to. Like, these are the people that are, like, making the content that I enjoy and are a part of shaping this entire, I don't want to say hobby because that seems, like, kind of small.
Yeah.
But
it's a hobby. That's okay.
This whole, like, I don't say business either.
Well,
it's a business. It's all those things.
I know, but I want to... There's a word I'm looking for, but I can't remember. I'll remember as soon as we're done recording, of course. But yeah, I want to... Like, people are shaping this part of people's lives, and video games are a part of a lot of people's lives. I want to know more about that. And I definitely want to just be more... aware of things that are going on. Like, and I want to see kind of how this entire video game genre, medium, came about and is how it is today by looking at its past.
It's a one-by-one thing, though, right? Like Ryan's saying, it's a case-by-case thing. You can't know everything. We're playing Red Faction before we came over, and Ryan rattled off the character's name, which I don't fucking remember, but I remember it's Troy Baker.
Yeah.
And Ryan says, "Oh, well, that must be before I knew who Troy Baker was." There was a time before we knew any of this stuff, and Red Faction Gorilla wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I think a lot of this depends on in what context you care about video games.
Like you love Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah.
Learn about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
You love Pokemon. Learn about Game Freak. Like I don't know, but there are like fun avenues in which to educate yourself on this stuff. Not just documentaries. I think documentaries are fun. Not everybody does.
I love documentaries.
But like,
I watch quite a few of them.
Have you ever heard of a show called Pop Fiction?
I feel like yes, but tell me.
Pop
tell
Fiction
me more.
was a Game Trailers show. So the guys when Game Trailers closed, the guys left and formed Easy Allies. So it's the same group of people, basically the same group of people. Some of them went to, I think, Funhouse. Anyway, Pop Fiction, now it's called Game Sleuth, right? Through Easy Allies, it's called Game Sleuth. Same show. It's Mythbusters for video games. I heard the fucking cheat for Killer Instinct where you can see Orchid's boobs, so they'll do what they can to prove or disprove that. Like, that's what each episode is, just like proving or disproving. That's not an actual episode. A video game myth, right? So like Missing No, they confirm that. They did an episode on Shadow of the Colossus. They've done Zelda episodes. It's a fun way of learning video game facts.
Yeah. Also, maybe like there might be I think one of the ways that I consume a lot of
IMDb.
Yeah. IMDb, like you can find out like who directed the game, like everybody
Yeah,
who's
I've
acted in
been
the game,
doing that
like
more
even down
often.
to like random.
It's not always right.
Yeah.
But it's usually pretty right.
I've been doing it more often, but not towards like developers and stuff, like voice actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like who's been working on it? Cause that was because I wanted to do a show on it, but then I just kind of now like when I look at games, I'm like, who's voice acting in that?
Yeah.
So.
But again, like I said, it depends on in what context you care about video games, right? And what about video games do you want to know? And I think that a lot of what I have in terms of what I do know about video games is kind of all over the place. I don't know a great deal about any one aspect. There are words that I hear that are terms that are used often that mean something to me, but I can't tell you the head of every developer that I like.
No, but like, if there is a series that has stuck with you, you could probably tell her who directed that series.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you learn what you like.
But a lot of that just comes with a lot of reading and listening to like other podcasts and things like that.
But like, in the grand scheme of video games and the people that are actually into knowing the stuff about video games, right? Like, most of them probably don't know who Ueda is.
Yeah.
But I learn about the fucker because I like what he's making,
Yeah.
Most of them probably don't know who Miyazaki is, but you learn about the fucker because you like what he's making,
Yeah.
Same thing with Genova Chen, same thing with even the big guys, David Jaffe, and, like all these people, Miyamoto, for Christ's sakes. I'm sure many more people know Miyamoto, but you know what I mean? Like, even the people that are...
Near Automata, right?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah, even
Take
people
that,
that are into...
trivia?
No, Genova Chen is...
Genova Chen, no. Yeah, Genova Chen.
Genova Chen did like Journey.
Yeah. Your Automata is Yokotaro.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had no interest in Yokotaro. I knew nothing about him until I played that game.
Yeah.
But because that game had such a profound effect on me, I started learning a fuck ton about him,
Yeah.
But,
so there's things in video game histories that I do know about. Like, obviously, with, like, Columbine, after that, ESRB being established.
Sure.
Of course, Gamergate. I know some about, like Guinness World Records, like, that have been faked in the past.
mm-hmm.
What else?
Billy Mitchell and his hot sauce.
Even though that wasn't Guinness.
Sure.
Yeah.
His record's still invalid, though. So.
Is there any other events you think I should pay attention to?
Absolutely. You should learn about the video game Crash. I think that's something a lot of people should learn about, because even if you fucking hate their games, you are playing whatever you're playing because of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Moment 37. I think everybody should learn about. It's a cool esports moment, but like it matters.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else, Ryan? ESRB, yeah, absolutely ESRB.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I would actually,
Columbine.
I would actually, in terms of the ESRB, I would actually pay a very close attention to that, and especially in the context of the way that video games and their effects on people have been discussed lately.
Though I don't know who leads the ESRB now.
Huh? Oh, I don't know who that is.
Who what now?
Who leads the ESRB? I don't know.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. Well, it's the fucking group that met with Trump.
I know.
I know
ESA?
it. ESA, there you go. ESA at least has some hand in it.
Right. But I couldn't tell you who the head of the ESA is. But things like that, and especially in the context of the way that video game content has changed since the establishment of the ESRB, and things like like we talk about with we were talking about the video game addiction thing a couple of weeks ago, and those two things, like, while they seem loosely connected, they are I feel very strongly correlated with one another, because a lot of it is like public perception of video games, but learning about that stuff is important, and learning about how the ESRB has shaped where video games are, because without them, video games would be a very different landscape than what we have. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is important, and also, you know, again, I think that where you should start though is just like what Tom was saying, was just pay attention to the games that you like. Like you like a lot of JRPGs, learn about that shit.
But as far as like important historical stuff like that, I think like learning about each console.
Yeah.
Not necessarily every console, because there's too many to know about, but like the main ones, right? Especially Sega.
Right now, Sega Saturn.
Yeah, learning about Sega Saturn and Sega
UX.
Dreamcast, you know, because like, if you think about Sega dropping out of video games, like that's a fourth, right? A third at a time and a fourth at the time of the industry that's just gone. And maybe you looked at it that way, maybe you don't, like, because obviously there are more console manufacturers. You're always going to have your OnLives and your Ouya's and all that bullshit. But as far as like major players, that's a major player that's gone.
Yeah,
now.
you think about.
And there's a reason for that, you know.
Like,
Neo Geo, there's a reason that they're not like. There's a reason SNK doesn't release consoles anymore. You know, like learning about important consoles in that aspect. I think it's
and learning to compare public opinion of said consoles alongside, you know, historically how those consoles actually performed at the time is important. Thinking about and I think Tom and I have brought this up before, the weird nostalgia that people have for the Sega Dreamcast, despite the fact that like not a lot of people bought that thing. And I'm not necessarily saying that everybody that you talk to about the Sega Dreamcast like is misplaced, like, you know, like what you like, but
yeah, I liked it. But I also bought it when the console was already dying.
Yeah.
Bought
you know?
it.
Yeah, so thinking about things like, or the way that, you know, again, another point, to a similar point, like the way like people talk about the first Beyond Good and Evil game, as opposed to how that game actually performed.
Well, that's like with any cult thing, though,
Yeah,
right?
but
like,
I mean, it's
Mallrats did better on DVD than it did in the theaters.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the same thing.
But it's interesting. It's interesting to see that stuff and also like see how that stuff shapes like the future of a franchise or a piece of hardware. Like obviously that didn't work out so well for Sega in that respect, but I also think that Sega's not doing too bad at this point either. So.
Alright, so I guess like to bookend it, do y'all have any other writers or series that you strongly suggest I should watch or listen to or look into?
I don't know if you'd be interested in them or not, but like, I love Tetris. I think everybody should watch The Ecstasy of Order. It's a few years old, documentary now, but it's very good. I'm internet buddies with a few of the people in that. Fuck. Capcom has recently put out several Street Fighter documentaries that I think are very good, and they don't just talk about Street Fighter, they talk about the FGC in general.
Is there any that you think are better than others that you've watched so far?
It's just on their YouTube channel. They'll have like playlists for it, you know.
So the Capcom YouTube?
Yeah. It's either Capcom YouTube or Street Fighter YouTube. Not positive. It is an official YouTube though.
You got a 50-50 chance of getting that right.
I think there's even like dumb shit that people can learn a lot from. If you go back and watch episodes of The Tester, that is a dumb fucking show. But there are people who are on that show that have very valuable opinions and knowledge. Tester is exclusive to PlayStation because it is a PlayStation produced show, game show, reality type show type thing. But you probably can find it on YouTube.
Another excellent PlayStation produced show is Powers.
No, that is terrible. The Boss Fight book series, some of it's opinion based, some of it's perspective based, but there is a lot of factual stuff there. Shit, I don't know, man.
Alright, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I got a page and then some.
Alright,
Do you have anything?
No, pretty much everything I have to give you is on that piece of paper.
So yeah, I think it's awesome. Thank you guys.
Sure.
I think this has been actually really nice. Some of the things that y'all just like said or names that you said that I didn't know, I just wrote those down. So also it's things like, hey, I could maybe talk to you about this afterwards. But
Pat Contri, write that name down.
what?
Pat Contri, PatContri. He is in the Executive Order documentary. He also has a channel called Pat the NES Punk. He's not going to teach you about jack shit besides Nintendo NES.
Yeah. Do you like those things?
But
I'm down for that.
it's very informative. He has a book, I can't remember what it's called, but you should buy it. He reviews every single NES game.
Nice.
You know,
There's a lot of them, so.
Yeah, that is.
7 something.
That's
Yeah.
just 7 games.
700 something, yeah.
Just 7 games. But yeah, if
here's something. If you want some historical context for Red Dead Redemption, you should definitely watch a show called Winona Earp.
Don't do that.
I'm
You could watch, listen to Red Dead Radio though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you could do that.
but yeah, I'm gonna be a lot more active on our Twitter. So
Don't lie.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
not.
make promises you can't keep.
Take us out. Sign us off because I think we're running out of tape.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so if you wanna tweet at us or
That
email
should be
us
like that filter
or
where like,
add it on,
you know.
or put it on Discord, which I may not check, but they'll let me know about.
No,
We will not. Do not put anything on Discord for Shanee. She doesn't exist there.
Yeah.
I'm real bad
you might
about
see
that.
her name, but it's a grayed out because she's been signed out for 57 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we love you
that
guys,
I don't know.
and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching us. This
Goodbye.
is Tommy Shelby, Ryan Robinson. Bye, guys.